Hallelujah. All praises, all honor, all glory goes to the Most High God, the Most High El, and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Most High God of all gods. Happy Sabbath to you all. Shabbat Shalom. I pray your week has been well. I pray that your rest is going good, and that you're able to find some rest for your body, and not only your body, but also for your spirit. Because as you go through the world, your daily rigmarole, your daily endeavors, you got all these different things that are just flooding in, different variables that can weigh on you heavy. And this can take a toll on our health. And so it's important that we can find a way to renew our strength and to replenish our body, our mind, and our spirit. A lot of people, they revert to substances, different things to cope and help them get through, or to numb the pain and mask their problems. And so they turn to substances. They are looking for a high, claiming it's medicine. It helps them. It relieves their stress, their anxiety, or, you know, gives them the strength that they need, when it is really a false sense of hope. It's a really not the medicine that is most beneficial for nourishing the spirit and the body. And so they go to these substances, they go to these drugs, and find all these different excuses, or come up with these reasons to try to justify their wickedness. But there's a mighty Elohim who can get you high. Isaiah 40. Isaiah 40 and 31. Let's start with 29. This is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. What is going to happen when that high comes down? What's going to happen when that substance is wearing off? When that fix is over, did it really fix it? Those substances that we want to justify as medicine, is it really medicinal? Is it long-term medicinal? Is it long-term beneficial, or is it just a temporary a deception? A deception that you're being healed from something, or a deception that your problem is fixed. Consult the Most High. Come back to the Father. Isaiah 40 and 29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. The Most High God, Yahweh, He can get you higher, in a long-lasting high that doesn't wear off. Because let's go to the book of Sirach. Peace and blessings to you all. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and 17. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. You're probably thinking good medicine. Oh, I already know the answer. You know what's good medicine? A joyful heart, right? But there's more I want to go into on this. And so I pray that this will be edifying. I pray that the Father will use me as a vessel for his glory to reach those who need to hear this. Maybe help one of you guys out. And I don't know what area you're struggling with, but may the Most High use me as a vessel. May the Most High be with you. May his spirit lead and guide you, help you break those strongholds of addiction, those strongholds of deception. Proverbs 17:22. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Yeah, I had to let that out. You know, a lot of you probably thinking, okay, what's good medicine? A joyful heart. Yeah, I already know. But there's more to it. There's more to it. Let's go to the book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. We'll come back to that in Proverbs. Some different things that are good medicine. The book of Sirach, chapter 26, starting with verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous wife doubles the number of a man's days. You know how many, and I don't know the study on this, the number, but the statistics is what I'm trying to say. You go look it up. The statistics on men's deaths, early deaths caused by stress, caused by headache and grief, things like that. All from a wicked woman, a woman that, is not adding value to his life, or, causing him unnecessary hardship, burdens, headaches. Sirach 26:1 says, blessed is the man that has a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A man with a virtuous wife, there's trust. He can sleep well at night knowing that he is taken care of. The babies are fed, the babies are clothed, the house is up to order. And when he comes home from a long day, he's not going to have to go to a new battle or another battle after he's been out in the world, battling the daily endeavors that he goes through. Sirach 26:13. The grace of a wife delights her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. A woman that's discreet has discretion. This will fatten the bones. This is another value a woman can bring that will bring healing, bring medicine, good medicine. Let's go over to Sirach 30, talking about good medicine, different things that are good medicine. We're still in the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. back when I had heat exhaustion, heat stroke, whatever, heat damage, however you want to label it, whatever it was, I didn't get looked at from a medical doctor. So who am I to say which one it was? But through all of that, I had some work scheduled the following weekend, and in the time of my affliction, dealing with heat damage, it's just what we'll say it is for now. I did not have any care to go do that side work the following weekend. And this was like a Tuesday or something, like I even having faith that, okay, I still got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to heal up, Saturday, another day to heal up, get some rest, recharge, replenish. On Tuesday, in my affliction, I could care less about the money. I could care less. Salaki. I could care less about the money. I could care less about having more work. And so this is what Sirach 30 and 15 reminds me. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. What value will that money have if you don't have the health to be able to labor for it? Or if you don't have the health to be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor? And so this is I am's frequency of thought. Blessings. Peace and blessings to you all. That reminds me, I was going to put that up. Peace and blessings. That's something I was going to add. Talking about good medicine. Where did it? Oh. Yeah, hallelujah. So, Sirach 30 and 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. All that money is meaningless. That side job coming up, I had no desire for it. I wanted nothing more than to feel better. And so this reminds me, like, what value does money have? Money is such a useful tool, but it's worthless if you don't have the health to be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor, or even just being able to do daily tasks, laundry, shower, eat, be able to get out of bed and walk across the room. Verse 16, this is Sirach 30 and 16. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Remember, we said joyful heart is good medicine. Proverbs 17 and 22. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. You know how many things are related to just stress alone. Stress is a big killer. Stress, anxiety, worry, and a lot of things we worry about are really unnecessary. I want you to think back on your life, like 5 years ago or 3 years ago, maybe it was even last year, where you had a issue that struck a lot of concern. You didn't know how you'd overcome it, didn't know how you get through it, didn't know what you would do to be able to fix the problem. And now, after you are past that and you can look back on it, I guarantee you're going to say, that was nothing. I was stressing over nothing. And so, all praises, all honor, all glory goes to the Most High for being able to pull us through those situations and to where we can look back and be encouraged on the future of, like, okay, he brought me through that. He can take me through this. This new problem I'm worrying about is nothing. Remember that one issue that was so much more severe and I didn't know how I'd get through it? He got me through that. Good medicine. Consult the Father, the great physician, our healer, our redeemer. Sirach 30 and 17, death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Everything else goes out the window. When you're afflicted so severe, you're dealing with an illness or you're dealing with on the brink of death, everything else goes out the window. You could care less about money, you could care less about these other things, and you just want to be better. And if you can't be better, sometimes you're at the point of where you're just saying, Father, take me, let me go see you. And what good is life if you don't have the health to be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor? Or you're in so much, maybe you do have the health, but you have so many issues back to back, and you kind of got yourself in a pit where you're wallowing in your own filth of these issues that you're dwelling on. A bitter life, going into a bitter life here. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Being in so much of a situation replaying, so much negativity that you just fester on and dwell upon, that there you're at the point where you don't want to continue. You see so much going on wrong around you, so much wrong going on around you, that you're wanting to be unalive. Sirach 30 and 17, death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. 22, the gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongs his day. Joy, having a joyful heart, it really does wonders to the body. I thank the Father for laughter, because if it wasn't for laughter, there are a lot of days I don't know how I'd get through, because laughter is a great motivator. Laughter is a good medicine, because it helps you to find light in the midst of your turmoil. It helps you to not dwell so much on the negative, but to see positive, and that there is hope. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongs his day. Joy prolonging your day. This even, the spirit and the physical are very well connected, because there's studies too. I'm not a big science dude, but studies also go show like the effects that joy has on the body and what it can do to heal. That's interesting. You say, I did learn that the same part of the brain that is in control of anxiety and depression is the same part that is in control of the feeling of gratitude. You can't feel both at the same time. Two masters. That's right. You're either hot or cold. You're either anxious or joyful. You can't be both at the same time. You can't serve two masters. What are you going to give your energy to? What are you going to give your thoughts and your emotion, your feeling to? Where are we at with it? verse 23. We're still in the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, book of Sirach, chapter 30, 23 now. Love thy own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee. For sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. Like I was talking about, Sirach 26 and 2, a virtuous woman rejoices her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. 26 and 13, the grace of a wife delights her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. Sirach 25:23, a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Sirach 30:23, love thy own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. So much of this is intertwined, interlinked with, sorrow and the effects it takes on the health. And I just thought of something too about sorrow, stress, grief is, yeah, that alone can do damage. But when you think about it, sorrow and stress, grief, all those things, they usually build up like a snowball effect. You get stressed and you revert to something, whether it be a substance or a food, or you get a certain junk, and so yes, stress alone can do damage, but also it links to other things that cause the issue. Blessings, I am. If you're still in here, I watched part of that movie. It was great. It was great. I got more thoughts on it, but don't want to sound very dull. It was great. Man, this is kind of what led me to do this. So I was thinking about junk food, right? In that movie. Great share anyway. But the effects that, being in a stressful environment, having a lot of stress weighing you down, and reverting without the emotional strength or, the mental strength to be able to set that issue to the side and still persevere. It's very easy to let yourself stumble and fall to things that are going to cause more things that are be more detrimental to you. That's why they go to people have problems with alcohol or substance abuse, or they're all of a sudden they're eating unnecessary foods that they wouldn't dare normally eat when they're in a good, healthy state, mentally. Like, I know a common theme is ice cream. Like, a lot of the times ice cream is associated with someone like, what's the matter? You eating a whole bowl of ice cream? What's wrong today? It's things like that. Sirach 30:23, love thy own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee. Why? For sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. There's no profit in sorrow. Remove it far from you. Start counting your blessings. That's good medicine. Counting your blessings, being able to remind yourself what you are grateful for, what you do still have going on for you. Because you're bringing unnecessary death upon yourself. For sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. There's no profit dwelling on it. What good is it going to do to dwell on it? 24. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. Envy and wrath shorten the life. Envy. So many people will run themselves dry trying to compete, trying to have what the other person has. When, what's so beautiful about life in the Father is everybody is at different stages and rates of their growth. Where the Most High has somebody is not the same where He has you, and where He has you is not the same level of where He has somebody else. Because there's things that you may see somebody else doing better than you, but they could be paying for that. Sold out. People say that. People say sold out, sold their soul to the devil. Different things like that. Maybe they robbed and schemed and got their what looks better through deception or unjust gain. Unjust gain. That's what I was trying to say. Trying to think of. Envy and wrath shorten the life. So envy. People will run themselves dry. They'll cause unnecessary harm, piles of debt, trying to compete. They'll wear themselves out, working overtime, picking up all these extra shifts all for what? To compete or to try to meet somebody else with where they are. There's no better thing than to be content and to be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor. I had a situation maybe it was last week working. I was working, I seen these people, all these, they're going out to eat, doing shopping, whatever, walking around the neighborhood. And it's like, it really weighed on me. It's like, man, here I am slaving. And what good is that? If I'm not able to spend the time to enjoy the fruit of my labor. And this isn't about envy, but it something led me to that. Sirach 30 and 24, envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. Wrath, the next part is wrath. Anger. You can cause so much harm and trouble, unnecessary burdens upon your life by being in an angry state. People will do some heinous things, some unthinkable acts out of anger, letting their emotions rise above them, take control over them. Wrath shorten the life. People can get themselves, this is why so many gang wars, they don't end because of wrath. One member gets the other gang's homie, let's say that, and then his boys are upset about it. So their wrath stirs up. They shot our homie. We need to go do this, and so they go do that, and then it's just I can't think of that scripture, but a fire consuming. It doesn't get its fill, and so it's just an unending cycle. Wrath shorten the life. Wrath shorten the life. So another thing too is dealing with harlotry. People will get so worked up on what another person does. Oh, he cheated on me. She did this, and they'll get so worked up, so much anger over it that they will go to extreme measures or really dwell on that and let it weigh them down or get themselves caught up in unnecessary trouble. And it's like, no, dude, it was just your time to share that person. Hey, envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. 25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Like I was speaking about earlier, how stress leads to different substances, different, all these vices that people will run to try to numb the pain. A cheerful heart and good heart, it says, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. So many times people, they run to things that they wouldn't dare normally eat. So for me, if I'm sick or if I'm on a fast, there will be foods that I wouldn't dare normally eat, and I wouldn't even eat them. I just crave them. If I'm fasting, there are foods I'll crave, like, oh, that sounds so good right now. And if I was in good health, if I wasn't afflicted, it wouldn't even cross my mind to go buy that or to go eat it. I wouldn't even entertain those thoughts. And so this is what the impact it has of being afflicted, not having a cheerful and good heart is you're going to be more open to feeding your flesh. Sirach 30 and 25, a cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. When you're already feeling good, in a cheerful and good heart, you're going to be able to build off of that. New Year's resolutions, those things are so stupid. But a lot of times people fall off. They make all these new resolutions. I'm going to do this year. I'm going to get this fixed. I'm going to start working on that. And then life hits them, and then they let that consume them. And so it crushes their spirit, and then they revert back to their old ways, or they fall off the wagon. But here they are, they may start a New Year's resolution, do good for a week, and they start feeling good, and then they carry it on for a month, right? 1 week of good progress, they carry that on to the next month. They carry it on to finish out a whole month. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. When you're already doing well, it's easy to build off of that. 31 and 6. Gold hath been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. Good medicine. How that there was something else. Anyway, we'll keep reading. 31 and 27. Oh, I skipped a whole lot of them. 31 and 6. Gold has been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. 31 and 8. Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish, and hath not gone after gold. Like I was saying, people will run themselves dry. They'll wear themselves out, put unnecessary strain and stress on their body or their mental health because they're trying to achieve something, trying to obtain more wealth. "31 and 20. Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He riseth early, and his wits are with him, but the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the belly are with an unsatiable man." Sound sleep comes of moderate eating. He riseth early, and his wits are with him. There is so much. I've recently heard a study that they were going over different times, like for 2 hours before bed, you don't do this. Another hour before bed, you don't do that. Something like that. All these different things about eating and drinking before bed, screen light, using your phone screen before bed. But one of them was eating before bed, having a heavy meal a certain amount of hours before bed. And what they revealed is they were saying that when you eat a heavy meal before bed, your body is spending that time sleeping to process and break down the food, and it's not being able to focus on getting the rest that it needs because it's working overtime. It's working in a different area to break down the food that you just gorged yourself with. Um, so 31 and 20, sound sleep comes of moderate eating. It's good to be good medicine to ease off of the food, put down the fork a little bit before bed so that you can, by the time you're ready to go lay down, your body has already gotten that fullness out and to where it can focus on getting rest. Uh, Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He rises early and his wits are with him, but the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the belly are with an unsatiable man. 31 and 21. And if thou hast been forced to eat, arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have rest. There it is again. There's more confirmation. More confirmation. Like the study, the science, all that BS. They say that, you know, and I shouldn't say BS because it is valid. If you're eating heavy before a meal, your body's processing that and not focusing on sleep. But this is just more confirmation. If thou hast been forced to eat, arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have rest. Get that out of your stomach. Let your body have rest. This is confirmation of the value of giving a few hours or something before bed to let your food digest before you. Some people, they say they sleep better with a full meal, but how are you feeling when you wake up? Yeah, you may think you're sleeping better because you ate heavy before bed, but are you waking up groggy? Are you waking up, you're slow to get out of bed? Or are you waking up being able to jump onto your feet and go right into the day? 22. Sirach 31 and 22. My son, hear me and despise me not, and at the last thou shalt find as I told thee, and all thy works be quick, so shall there no sickness come unto thee. 31:27. Wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately. Moderately. People say, "Oh, drinking, that's a sin. That's a sin. You're wrong." Okay, slow down, listen. Wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately. Moderately. What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make men glad. And remember, a cheerful heart is good medicine. Verse 28, wine measurably drunk and in season bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind. Okay, for those who want to go into that, listen. 29, but wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind with brawling and quarreling. 30, drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend. It diminishes strength and maketh wounds. Yes, this is a double-edged sword. Yes, you could be wrong for drinking. It could be sin. It's how are you doing it? How are you doing it? Because remember, envy and wrath shorten the life. Okay? Sirach 30:24. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. So remember, anger and wrath shorten the life. And then look, wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind, and brawling and quarreling. 30. Drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend. Drunkenness increases the rage of a fool. Envy and wrath shorten life. Yes, so those two are a little wine that's good for the heart, good for cheerfulness. but too much of it, you can shorten your life from wrath, from rage, and also poisoning. 32:14. Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor. I think that was something extra I had because I got markings all over in this book. But 32:17. 33:3. Sirach 33:3. A man of understanding trusts in the law, and the law is faithful unto him as an oracle. A man of understanding trusts in the law. All right, but how is that good medicine though? The law. The law is faithful unto him as an oracle. There's something else I want to bring out. Sirach. I'm so caught up on Sirach. This is Proverbs chapter 7. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 1 and 2. My son, keep my words and store up my commands within you. Keep my commands and you will live. Guard my teachings as the apple of your eye. All right, he says, keep my commands and you will live. Sirach 33:3 says, a man of understanding trusts in the law, and the law is faithful unto him. I'm not going to go into debate of clean and unclean foods. We know the health effects that abominable foods have on the health. Diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, things like that, right? So if you were to dive into the law, a lot of people say, oh, that's done away with, that's Old Testament, all these different reasons. But listen, a man of understanding trusts in the law, and the law is faithful unto him as an oracle. That was Sirach 33:3. Proverbs 7:2 says, keep my commands and you will live. Guard my teachings as the apple of your eye. Some of these, this is good medicine. The law, it gives you guidelines. It gives you structure. It cares for you in a way that won't bring unnecessary burdens upon your life, right? And with the Sabbath day, man, just think about what we would have been doing. And I can't speak for everybody, but me, myself, when all the days blended together, right? All the days blended together. It didn't matter if it was Sunday or Saturday, Friday or Tuesday. All the days blended together. They were all the same, same stuff. I may be going to work or whatever, but after work or the weekend, didn't matter when, right? I'd go get caught up in folly, madness, foolishness, and things that I look back on now. I'm like, where was the fear of Yah? Where's that thought in your mind of like, I need to be able to make it to work tomorrow. I can't be locked up. I can't be in the hospital. These different thoughts that keep you on a righteous path, that give you guidelines and parameters. That's the law. That's how the law is an oracle. A man of understanding trusts in the law, and the law is faithful unto him as an oracle. So what I was getting at, if I wasn't trying to live by the law, statutes, commandments, I'd be getting myself caught up in unnecessary burdens, bringing harm upon my health. I'd just be appealing to every desire of the flesh, and some of those desires are not an oracle. Some of those desires are more detrimental. All right. We're almost done. There's one about discipline. Where did that go? Discipline. All right. Sirach 30:1. He that loveth his son causes him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. 30 in verse 2, he that chastises his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Correction, discipline, this is a good medicine. This is good medicine because it will keep you, like I was saying, how the law is an oracle. This will keep you in the parameters of righteousness. It'll set you on a narrow path to, wake you up, shake you a little bit and let you know the direction you're going is detrimental. The direction you're going, you're getting yourself caught up in a rough crowd that there's only two ways out. You'd be very fortunate to be able to make it through that. So correction, Sirach 30:1, he that loves his son causes him to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chastises his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. This is good medicine for both the son and the father. The son gets correction. The son gets, scared straight. Gets the fear of Yah put in him. Like, look, you keep going down this path. These are the results that are going to happen to you. And then the father gets good medicine through it because he has seed that is following after his footsteps, following after the Most High. Living a life that is pleasing in the sight of Yah. And he's able to bring joy to his father. The father is able to get joy because it's so grievous when you pour so much into somebody and they, you pour so much into somebody and then they go contrary to what you're teaching or what you're trying to show them. It's very grievous. Spend all that time and energy and effort trying to get them to go the right direction and they turn from it. And so this is how it's good medicine for both the son and the father. The father is able to rejoice that his efforts are not in vain. His efforts are actually making a difference. What he's doing, pouring into his son, correcting him, teaching him, chastising, maybe beat him a little, but is able to make a fine young man out of his son. All right. We're about to wrap this up. Let's go to 36. Sirach 36 and 22. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better. 37 and 1. That's something saved for a different message. Sirach 36 and 22. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better. Man, there you have it. Some good medicine. Go back through. Any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the chat. I'm going to go back, try to read some of these. I did learn that the same part of the brain that is in the control of anxiety and depression is the same part that is in control of the feeling of gratitude. You can't feel both at the same time. Two masters. Yes. It's foolish. You can't be depressed and happy at the same time. It's like, if you're going to be depressed, you have that hour of being depressed, and then maybe the next day or the next hour you get some joy. But you can't be joyful in the midst of your depression. It's just nonsense. Can't serve two masters. You either one or the other. Yes, for instance, your liver stores anger. Wow, I haven't heard of that. It's all energy or energy blocks. For example, alcoholics drink and get cirrhosis. They usually drink because of repressed anger. And that's something too. A lot of people, they cleave and they justify their wickedness, going to all these different substances to try to mask the pain, suppress their problems. Anger, yeah. Glad you checked it out. Yeah, it was pretty good. I still need to finish it. It was a good movie, though. He says, I always say you clean your house before company comes over. Well, your body is God's temple. Why would you not clean it up so that he may be in your body? and you, ah, come on, and you in, why do they have this stupid money sign? It's really in the way trying to read. You in something body, because the Son and Father are one. He says, I always say, when you clean your house before company comes over, well, your body is God's temple. Why would you not clean it up so that he may be in your body? There you go. Yeah, thank you for just you typing a new comment. It raised it up to where I can read better. Good. And you in his body, because the Son and Father are one. There you have it. Good medicine, different things take into consideration. I pray that those who are battling with substance abuse, or not even just substances, but poor diet because of stress or because of, something weighing them down. I pray that you all can be able to get some breakthrough. And those that are having trouble with substance abuse, let me talk to you about a different kind of high you can get. A high that will not wear off, a high that is everlasting. Isaiah 40:29, he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. It says, those who hope in Yahweh, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. No, you can't just believe. Yeah, you can't. You say, yeah, I know God. I've heard of him. I do all this. I do that. But what good is it without hope? Yeah, you can claim to know him and claim that you believe in him, but you have to put your hope in him for him to renew your strength, for him to have you soar on wings like eagles, run and not grow weary, walk and not be faint. Says those who hope in the Lord, those who put their hope in the Lord. Great building, brother. Peace and blessings. And in your evening, enjoy your evening. Yeah, there it is. It's in that money sign again. But peace and blessings to you all. I pray you get some value out of this. May it be edifying for the spirit and the body. May you all seek some deliverance. If there are things you're struggling with, consult the Father. Reach out. I'm gonna drop my email if you need prayer. And there's a lot of great brothers and sisters in the fold in this faith too that you can reach out to as well, who would be happy to help. All right, there you have it. Put it on stage for a little bit. There you go. It's in the comments. You got my email. If any of you need prayer, we can make that happen. Peace and blessings to you all. I pray that this was edifying. May the Most High be with you. May His Spirit lead and guide you. May He help break some of those strongholds, addictions, whatever they may be. Peace and blessings. Shabbat shalom. Happy Sabbath to you all. For Yah, to Yah be the glory.